Oh, we've had a really good spring. Kids worked awful hard. I'm glad. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad the scrimmage is over and that we had 15 what I thought were pretty physical practices. And Marion Harris had a little knee today. They don't think it's going to be a serious injury, and that's really the. We know obviously in the game you're going to have a few bumps and bruises, but I think that was probably the only one. Saw a lot of really positive things on both sides of the ball. Some things we obviously need to work on, but uh, I think our kids are in a really good frame of mind, and I thought the day went well. We got I don't know, probably it was probably close to about 120 snaps in there, and got all our special teams in there. Cam Little made a 58-yard. I just asked him. I said, "Where you want it?" He said, "Right middle on the 50." And I'm starting to calculate that. That quite a little ways down there. Right middle on the 40. Was it, how far was the kick? 58. So it would have been 40. So a long kick, and had plenty of distance with it. I mean, he had a little breeze too, but so that'll build his confidence as well. So anyway, I'm ready to answer questions. I'm proud of the kids, proud of the coaches.
Coach, what do you think? Just lately overall, your wide receivers, and especially today with Satania had a couple touchdown catches. Probably good matchup career one time. So.
You know, the thing that our wideouts have done this spring is they're catching the football. I mean, Landon Rogers was out there catching balls today, and you know that they're catching the ball. I think today overall, you look at 4, 2, 9, 8. You know, backs caught a pass or two. Two made a really nice grab across the middle and then did something with it. So you know, Broden's the one that's a little behind because he hadn't practiced as much. But I think there's a ton of potential there, and we saw it before he was injured. I like that. I like that group. There's not, drama in that group or anything like that. They go to work. They want to get better, and I think they've got silent leaders in there. But I think Sategna obviously shown how much he's improved over since the bowl game.
I mean, you think he's like the most improved out of all? I mean, like when you think about where he was last year, he didn't play a whole lot.
I think you could say that. I mean, I do. You know, from when they got here to now, you might could say two. You know, possibly Armstrong was a guy that's really improved a lot. Tesla's always been able to make the catches, you know, the one hands, the fancy catches, whatever he can catch a ball. But I think Satane is a guy that you go, and I'll say this, Sam Bach, I think Sam's improved as well. But if you look at wideouts in just in general, he probably confidence. Always had a lot of talent, but playing with a lot of confidence. And from where I was, I felt like one of his two touchdowns was, and he made that and had a lot of confidence right now.
For several weeks, offensive line was just like, Cody was like a mad scientist, yeah. I guess. But last maybe a couple of weeks now, it seems like maybe the only thing that is I'm seeing a lot of changes, maybe right guard.
Like East and
feel like this
the Marion.
Kind of where you're at right now.
Well, I believe that you find your tackles, and you can. I mean, a lot of guys will say, "Well, you got to find a left tackle." Well, what if you don't have a right tackle? It ain't gonna be too good either. I believe you got to find your tackles and your center, and then after that, and I'm not saying that guards, I mean, aren't important. They're really important, but I think you got to come out there going, who can protect the edge, and who can run the offense, and the center is that guy, and I feel really confident with Bo, and then. You know, I think we've found something in Curtis out there, especially with him having three years to play. We also feel good about, you know, Tyke East and some guys out there as well. Marion's played out there. But to look at Curtis out there, I think that was huge for us, and we did that about maybe 6-7 practices ago.
Coach, 2021 KJ started 13 games, stayed pretty healthy for you. I played through a few.
Yeah.
But last year you missed 2 games, you lost both. You feel better about Jacoby Criswell being there now? I know you won't catch it play, but if he goes down, you feel a lot better with Jacoby out there.
Well, I think this, you're looking at a kid coming in, and Jacoby hadn't played a whole lot of ball, over at North Carolina, and to be where he is and what he's done. I mean, he's thrown some stuff in practice that was like crazy good, and I think he's just going to get better and better. Yes, do I think? I guess part of the question would be, can we beat an SEC team with him at quarterback? And the answer would be absolutely, in my opinion. So he was very, very valuable to us to bring in.
Nate wanted me to ask, and Trey kind of hit on this, but with Isaiah, how much do you think that redshirt year benefited him?
I think a lot. He's much bigger. If you look at him, he's much thicker than what he was, and his confidence is way up. It's one thing to have confidence when you're in high school, and then another one to get here, and the game's so fast. Y'all see it out there. The closer you get to the game, it's fast, and to play quarterback, play wide out, make these adjustments on the run, and it's split second decisions. He's got that ability to separate when he is able to do that, and now he's able to do that, and so now you see what I would say is true speed.
Just a little bit, but you feel like after spring break when he came back, of course he had a couple more opportunities with Tyrone and Sam. Do you feel like maybe the light kind of went off and he just kind of took the chance and ran with it?
I do. You sit there and you talk about his mama being a great athlete and his daddy being a coach and all that, and I think all that helps because you're constantly talking about it and this, that, and the other when you're in the home. But it also talks about the discipline that you have to win 20 state championships, all that. But I think everybody who's played any sport, there's a time when it goes. And I think when he came back from the spring break, it just clicked for him. And I'm looking around, there's not a lot of athletes in here, but whoever it was an athlete in here, you remember, not you, no, I'm teasing. It just clicked. And that's what, and I wasn't either, by the way, and it just clicked for him.
Your defense wanted to get the ball back, period.
Yeah, they did.
Can you maybe talk about, that particular segment and then just defense all overall?
Well, I can tell you this. It was a lot easier today to go for it on our own 40-something with a yard to go than what it might be in a game. I thought it was a great call on third down to roll KJ out. Dan asked me, I said, we're trying to win a game, man. We ain't trying to have them waste their third time out. We're trying to win a game. Guy caught him short. And then I said, on fourth down, I said, I'm going to tell you right now, it depends on who it is and, things of that nature. But I said, we're going to go win the game, right? It's a yard. If you get it, you win. And to be honest with you, we learned something on that play. I don't want to go into detail on it, but it was the verbiage of the play. And so we're going to change it because KJ kept the ball. And there's not a read in them for him keeping the ball, but the verbiage says that he can keep the ball. I don't want to get further than that. We've got to change that because if we'd have handed the ball off, I believe that we'd have got the first down. But so that's why I guess you practice, and I'm glad it didn't happen in a game. But and then I went over to T-Will when they, when the defense stopped the offense, and I said, man, that's great, but they're on the 38-yard line with a minute 40 left. And I said, you're in trouble now on defense, So that's the bad part about to get the ball back 2 minutes. But we ended up getting down there and got it centered up and 24-yard field goal. He made it, so that part of it was good. And then the two offense won to get the ball back, and then I just made up a scenario for the 2 minute, and we didn't get a chance to score there. We got a chance, we just didn't. Defense did a nice job.
And no, very few penalties until the intentional grounding. So maybe your thoughts about lack of penalties?
Yeah, I think we held on to the football for the most part with our veteran group. We had a little bit of problem with our younger guys. Penalties, we were much cleaner, and I don't know what they were right now, but it felt to me like we were much cleaner than what we were in the first scrimmage, and I can remember coming in here and, your first game, you usually have your most penalties, in the second game a little less, third game a little less, but I think the scrimmage part of it will help us, and then we're going to scrimmage in the fall too. I think you have to, and so I was really pleased with the operation, whether that be penalties. We did have a pick, and that was Day. That's nice to see Day back out there, and he's been out there for a while, but playing full speed tackle football, he hadn't done that in quite a while.
Sam, I think we got Landon Jackson with a couple of sacks today. Is that kind of what you've been seeing throughout the spring from him?
Yeah, him 7'6", 58. They're all playing really well. Landon's so long. I feel like he's bigger than I know he is. He's bigger than he's been since he's been here, and I think his ACL. I think his mind is very confident in his legs, and he's so long, man. He's hard to block, and 7's hard to block. 58's hard to block. 6 hard to block. The guys are Zach's hard to block. I mean, they've done a really good job, and we're getting better on the inside as well, pushing it out to them. We still got to address that a little bit.
You mentioned the young guys, maybe ball security a little bit. Malachi, I think, dropped a snap or something. Is that just a matter of him being a young guy, first time out?
We haven't seen it in practice, so I'm assuming that, there's some folks out there, and he knew it was on TV, and I would imagine he was a little psyched up, a little nervous out there, but you can tell he can run, and I told Dan to take him out, but I wanted to take him out so I could talk to him, and I didn't say much to him. Say, hey, we believe in you, just relax a little bit, but he can run now, so.
Yeah, Sam, I just think Torian played. I mean, I know he's had a good spring, and Nico had a lot of sacks, and you guys had a lot of sacks. I know you don't hit the quarterback, but I think you had
about Nico.
Yeah.
He was back there. I thought he was my assistant. I thought he was Dalton back there a few times.
Or just what you think about the sacks in general, overall?
Man, it was nothing more than what we've seen all spring. I mean, and I guess you know how it is. You can make a mountain out of molehill one way or the other if you're having giving up sacks, and you don't have any tackles, that can block them and all that. I think we're pretty good on defense. I think we're pretty good at the offensive tackles too. It's just we put them in pretty hard situations with situational football that we have too. But Nico got a lot better. I think we got a lot better as a team and per man. But Nico really showed out as well. And who'd you say before that? Oh, TC. It was just great to have him back. And I believe TC will be a lot better in the fall than he was even in the spring, just kind of like what we talked about with Landon Jackson.
Well, one more Isaiah. I know we've been talking a lot about him, but what play he made, I was impressed. He ran down the guy on the interception, saved a touchdown. I know it's a scrimmage and all, but
it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a huge deal. You get him down and they don't score a touchdown, you save 4 points there or save 7. Big deal. And he's fast, so he ran fast. Went down there and got him.
Think of KJ today, and then what kind of a spring did he have?
KJ's having fun. He's getting better. Very confident. The one thing, let's look at this. Let's say you don't tackle. This would be a good one for you, Mike, if somebody asks you. But let's say you don't tackle, okay? And I made that mistake last year. Well, you really don't know what you have in a quarterback. You really don't. Not in spring. You really don't. I mean, we've got an idea about KJ because he played for it, but he's not live. So you don't know if he can make a guy miss. You don't know if he can bang off somebody, and you don't know what he's like on a Saturday because you're blowing him the whistle dead. Well, imagine you don't tackle. It's the same thing. You really don't know what you have if you're not out there scrimmaging. You can't really find out who can play and who can't. You can't allow for someone to beat somebody out because You don't know who's going to rise in a game situation and who's not. So I think obviously KJ had a good spring. I think he's really took to Dan, and that's not to say anything about Kendall. I'm talking about Dan. He's taken to Dan, and Dan done a nice job with him. Kendall did too, but I think he's a more knowledgeable quarterback simply for the NFL, simply because we're in an NFL system. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Coach, normally it wasn't long ago, I guess maybe your assistant would take maybe a couple of days before jumping into the evaluation period, but the portal window opens today. I'm sure you got film you want to look at too.
Y'all don't have any news that I don't know, do you?
No, not yet. But the evaluation period opens on Monday. You still got official visits you can have through June 27th. How do you manage all that stuff now?
Well, I'm in keen shape, so I can physically handle it. It's hard. We got, I don't know, 30 recruits on campus. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I think we're pretty well organized in recruiting, and our staff is go-getters. I'm going to have the staff talk to their position and try to wrap that up by Tuesday. We're not going out on the road this week. We're trying to make sure everything's good here at the home front. I'm going to start talking to the players on Wednesday. I'm not going to talk to any of them until they've talked to their assistant, until the assistant coach. I made that mistake too. You live and learn. But I'm going to let our coaches talk to them first, and then we'll have a team meeting on Monday, but then they'll do that. Hopefully we'll stay out of the portal with our team, and then our coaches will go out on the road starting next Sunday.
Coach, I know you've got 6 pretty much legit SEC defensive ends you've talked about, but John Hill's a kid that played well in last. Yeah, he had 2 sacks and a tackle for loss today. Is he someone that if he's redshirt sophomore, if he stays in the program, is he someone who can help you, even if it's just special team?
Man, I think so. Man, what a great parents, and his sister's baton, Major Ed, or what I don't know the name for that, but he's such a great kid. You're right. He's valuable to the program, and I think if he stays with it, he'll continue to get more and more looks on the field on Saturdays.
Ankle. Did they say anything about Ty's ankle?
I did not. I didn't see that. I'll find out here when we get back there. But man, he made a nice catch now, and a couple of them, and did a nice job there. I appreciate you too.